All right, it's kind of updated, so it looks a little bit different, but I am going to make the annotated bibliography tutorial. I have a kitten in my office. Anyway, I'm going to make the annotated bibliography tutorial and kind of walk us through that. So I'm going to pause this so I can open up my screen to share. All right, so I'm going to begin by I'm going to begin just by opening up the prompt and discussing opening up this prompt and discussing. I changed it up just a little bit just by using some bullet points. So again, I use what is called inclusive learning in my classes. I use this idea of inclusive learning, which just pretty much means that I want you included in your own educational experience, all of you. I shared this story with my students, face-to-face students, and I want to share it with you also. When I was a Seminole State student, sorry, I have a kitten in here. When I was a Seminole State student, I went to UCO just to visit the campus once, and we were playing volleyball with a group of students. And so I was not a UCO student; I was a Seminole State student. This was about 2004, 2005, and I went with this group to play volleyball and have some fun. And as I was at the UCO campus in Edmond. Beautiful campus, by the way, old buildings. It's a very large campus, gorgeous campus. Um, I was touring that campus and and walking around that campus, and I remember looking over at the person who was checking out this campus with me, and I told this person who was with me, I said, I could never attend UCO. I could never attend a campus like this. This is why I'm really happy that we have Seminole State. I'm a Seminole State student, but I'm just not good enough to go to UCO. This university is way too nice for somebody like me, right? And again, that's whenever I was working on my associate's degree here at Seminole State. I didn't plan on going anywhere after Seminole State. I said I might go to East Central University in Ada, but even then, it felt as if this is Tupelo anyway. Even then, it felt as if the word university attached to East Central, even that was too big for me, right? Well, I started tutoring at Seminole State, and the chairman. It was after I graduated, and the chairman came up to me and asked if I would like to it was after I graduated East Central. I started tutoring at Seminole State while I was a student here. I kept on tutoring as I went on to East Central University and got a bachelor's there. And the chairman came up and asked, he said, I'd heard that you just got a bachelor's. I said, yes. And he said, well, how would you like to teach some zero level classes? That's like our lab classes. And I said, well, I thought about it a little bit, and I thought, I tutor here. I could probably do it. So I said yes. So I started tutoring here at Seminole State. And then after I graduated with a bachelor's, and then about 2 months later, the chairman came back and asked, he said, well, if you'd like to continue teaching full time, you'd have to have a master's degree or at least be working on a master's degree. Now, at this time, I was like, I was never going to go to college, more or less get a master's degree. So I started checking out different colleges and whatnot. And I found that UCO, the University of Central Oklahoma in Edmond, had a composition and rhetoric program. And I knew I didn't want to go into literature, but I wanted to go into composition. So I enrolled at UCO, graduated there in 2012. It was about a year later, I realized that not just a few years prior to graduating UCO, I was touring UCO and realized that I had said that I could never go on to UCO because I just wasn't that type of student. I didn't have what it took to be a UCO graduate. And then I graduated there with a master's degree. So that reminds me of this TED Talk. And it's the reason why we have this annotated bibliography in the first place. It's for us to bring all of us to our own education, right? So what I would like for us to do are find some sources that helps us understand ourselves a little bit more, right? Find some sources to help us understand ourselves. So I'm kind of working on an example annotated bibliography. I'll show us that here in just a moment. But these sources are like a blog or podcast that helps you, let's say you like to bake. I have an example podcast in mine, the Rachel Cooks with Love baking cinnamon rolls, because I love to make and give away cinnamon rolls as a gift. I like to make the box look pretty, and I like to give those away. So my blog or podcast, actually, it's a YouTube podcast, is Rachel Cooks with Love cinnamon rolls. So that would be one in my annotated bibliography. So let me back up a little bit. What an annotated bibliography is a list of sources. That's all. So you have your works cited, or what looks like on your works cited. I'll open up my example here in just a moment, and then a brief explanation of that source. And then once you have a paragraph that explains this source, you move on to the next one, right? So I have one citation about me, again, is about how to make cinnamon rolls of that podcast. And then I move on to perhaps my favorite song, right? And then I move on to two academic sources about me. And I'll talk into that a little bit more here in just a moment. One of those academic sources about myself is about coming from, I don't know where my cat went. It's not my cat, it's my neighbor's cat. But one of those academic sources would be like coming from a home with substance abuse, where there's a lot of substance abuse in the house where I grew up. So one of my academic sources about myself is about coming from a home with substance abuse, right? Another academic source could be about hiking, how I like to hike. So it could be the benefits of hiking. Another academic source could be social anxiety. You know, I have a lot of social anxiety, so I could look up an academic source about social anxiety. So a couple of our sources, at least two, need to be So a couple of academic sources need to be a little bit more than just here's my favorite song and here's that I like to bake cinnamon rolls. They need to be about my past. They need to be about what's a part of my identity, about where I came from. So I'll share some of our academic sources that I've come up with, but that's what an annotated bibliography is. We are only going to focus on this section right here. Next week, we're going to write the proposal. Right now, right now I'd like for you to get your sources down, right? So find 5 or 6 sources that help you understand who you are. I'm also going to show us how there's places that will cite those sources for us. But for now, find some sources that help you understand yourself. Cite the source and then explain the source. Cite the source, explain the source. Cite the source, explain the source. That's what an annotated bibliography is, where you cite a source and then you explain that source. So let me open up my example. Play. All right, there we go. Let me share the screen. Sure. All right, so this is not the best annotated bibliography because I'm trying to grade your essays instead of write an example. But you can get an idea of what this looks like. So here is a quasi-example annotated bibliography. It's in alphabetical order based on this first. Actually, Rachel needs to go, of course. I was doing a podcast. This is an R. There we go. So it's in alphabetical order. This is a B and an F and an L. So these are in alphabetical order from how much they're sticking out. So here I have benefits of hiking, because I like to hike. Benefits of hiking, National Park Service. This is an academic source that talks about the benefits of hiking, of course. So I'm going to write an explanation of the source and then how I relate to the source. Being in nature is beneficial, is escaping jobs and responsibilities, helps mental health, right? A much longer explanation than that, of course, right? A much longer explanation about the benefits. So these need to be, I think our prompt says like 5 to 10 sentences, 6 to 8 sentences. So let's shoot for at least 6, 7 sentences on these, on our explanations here. They need to be pretty long. And then we go into, my next one was a song about myself, right? I cannot stress enough, if you have a song, then let's make sure that you do not look up the meaning of the song to the writer's point of view, the person who created the band's point of view or whatever. Make sure you talk about what that song means to you. This is just really quick also. I talked about, one of the times whenever I heard the song, and then I have a quote from the song, because if I didn't have that in my essay, we need to be able to check that off on that MLA. But anyway, so I have one of my favorite songs, Foo Fighters, the song title. I'm going to go the album, producer date, Amazon Music. So that's what a song looks like. And I'll upload this because I really, again, have to grade your essays instead of writing an example. But that's what a song looks like, the band, the name of the song, the album, the producer, the date, and then where I would find it. iTunes. Is there iTunes anymore? I don't know. But Amazon Music is where I buy my music. All right, not YouTube. We do not want to cite the YouTube video here. We want to cite the original source, the album. All right, so if I put a song, that's a song about me that reminds me of myself, not just one that I just like, but one that I can have a detailed why this song, has to do with me. All right, here's the one about the young adults with substance use disorders. It's from a journal, Behavioral Health and Science, right? So this is what an annotated bibliography looks like before we get the proposal paragraph. We don't have the proposal on here just yet. We have a source and then an explanation, a source, an explanation, a source, an explanation. And then here's the Rachel Cooks with Love. The podcast is different than a podcast is different than just the YouTube video, right? So this is cited as a podcast, not quite as just a YouTube video. So make sure we're following that. But I try to give you as many examples as I possibly can so you can cite yours correctly. So there really is no reason why you would upload an essay or why you would upload an annotated bibliography or anything like that with your sources not cited correctly, because I've given you so many example sites, so many example sources that you should be able to have a correct works cited page and correct in-text citations by now. So let's make sure that we have those correctly done on your annotated bibliography and correctly, updated on your essay. All right, so the next thing that I want to show us, so here's the example. That's what you should have by about Tuesday or so of next week. And next week, we're going to move on to write the proposal. So make sure that you get your sources down. So the next thing that I want to share is how to use our library website and whatnot to, I'm going to go to Google Scholar first. With my caps lock on. Google Scholar. All right, so let me go back so you can see what I just did. Let me share my screen. Share with just Google. Where's just, okay, there we go, Google. So we're just at Google. I can type in Google Scholar or the word scholar, and it's going to go to Google Scholar. Right, so you can click on Google Scholar. Now we're in Google Scholar, which means it's going to give you scholarly articles. So in Google Scholar, I can type in some ideas about, once I kind of understand, let's see. Right, so I can look up, so all I wanted you to do is show you that you can cite these. So association between poverty during childhood and adolescence and drug use disorders, crimes later in life and whatnot. But anyway, so poverty hits children first. I kind of like the thought of that, so I might check that out. But if I want to cite it, I can go to this word right here that says cite. And then copy and paste. Here's the MLA citation for that. So again, it does it for you. Google Scholar, not Google, but Google Scholar will cite these sources for you, right? So here's, keep on scrolling. There's another site right there. MLA cites that for you. I've been taught a lot. Cites that for you. So it will cite that for you, right? Also make sure that it's relevant. So we don't want something from 2005. We want something relevant. But anyway, right. So let's, again, I just wanted to show you that Google Scholar will cite that for you. The same with our library. So our library website, let me go to our library website. So I'll show you how to go to our library website. So I'm not just going there. So here is our home page. I go to academics, down to library, And then right here is the EBSCO Discovery Search, right? So again, here we have so I'm going to type that in here and get also. So here's some access options, right? So I can come down as a PDF, online full text, which does a great job with that. But I also wanted you to see that these sources, it'll cite these sources for you also. I think you have to click on it maybe. And then, yeah, here we go. So you click on it, and then here is cite. So now it goes into, the AMT. You have to scroll down to MLA. So MLA 9th edition, and it cited that for you also. So all you have to do is copy and paste this citation, make sure it's Times New Roman, make sure everything matches. All you have to do is cite that also. All right, so our library cites it for you. Google Scholar cites it for you. Find another result here. 3-year, here we go. I'm going to click on that one. I don't know what I just clicked on. I'm going to click on it. Here's cite. I'm going to go to MLA. And again, there it is. It cited it for me, right? So it cites that for you. So be sure that you are getting those correct. But Google Scholar and Google Scholar and our library website both will cite those sources for you. And then the other ones are EasyBib. I'll share screen as I go there. Just show you what I share Google. Now, something else that I want you to see is that EasyBib MLA is also a citation generator, right? It's pretty good. You have to be able to understand what you are citing. Actually, I don't want to cite a website. I want to cite a song. So I'm going to go to more. Let's go to what do we call this? Let this be like musical recording, which may not mean the same thing I think it means. Let's just do I'd rather do a song. Anyway. It might be like a musical voice change. Yeah, Jewel. Okay. So that's not really, maybe I need to type in. Right. So I'm going to need a whole lot of that. Anyway, so you kind of get the idea here though. But let's type it in. See what we come up with there. Right. So it's probably not musical. It's thinking that it is a musical as in like I want just a song. See if I can just type in song. Search for just a song. Anyway, it's going to take me a little bit, but you can use EasyBib MLA to type in to find let's say I want a website like that website about hiking, benefits of hiking during the way. So we're going to type in benefits of hiking. You can copy and paste. You can copy and paste your URLs here. Let's see. Let's see, what can we do to move? There we go. Just watching me. All right, so I've got this benefits of hiking, the hiking trail. I'll share a screen with that. I don't know how much it moves with me. Let's say I have this benefits of hiking. This is something I've already cited, but there's my benefits of hiking. I can copy and paste, Control C, and I'm going to come over here, and my Zoom thing is in the way of me being able to get to. There we go. I can move this. All right, so I can copy and paste that URL, that www into here, and it's not a musical, it's a website. So I got to change that to website. There we go. Let's go think, and it's going to go to benefits of hiking. I'm going to cite that. All right, and there's things I'm going to have to be able to look for to make sure that it's correct. But now, we want to make sure that our H like we have to be able to look through these. So benefits of hiking that needs to be corrected. There is no author, but I need to be able to go back and look for an author. So I need to be able to go back to my website, see whether or not there's an author. I know that there isn't, but if there's something blatant, go back and make sure because it's using an algorithm to find these ideas. There was one time where it put the word author in the first name. It was like author, and then it had like their first name as the last name. So the word author was here because it found the name, it found the word author. And so author was not their first name, just the website itself had author. So we have to make sure that these are correct. National Park Services, that's all nice and capitalized. Department of the Interior is capitalized. The URL, I don't think it has a date in which it was published, but let me go make sure. See if this website has, I'm looking at the website if it didn't move with me. I think it just says 2024. Nope, it doesn't even say that. So no, this website doesn't have a date either, but since it was empty, I wanted to go back and make sure that there was no date. So I can, oh, good grief, complete the citation. There we go. Scroll down a little bit. And then view a sponsored message, complete the citation, which I don't want to waste your time viewing a sponsored message, but you can copy and paste that. Stop sharing. You can copy and paste that URL over to that citation over to your work, your annotated bibliography. All right, so the last thing that I want to look at is our discussion board. So let me go to our discussion board. So again, our annotated bibliography, I view as a student. And then I'll look at our discussion board. All right, so this is one of my online classes. So I'm going to go to, get you out of the way this time. I'm going to go to discussions. And then we're going to go down to have some more Memoir Mondays. But here is our annotated bibliography discussion board. So please watch the video and write a paragraph how you personally relate to this video. It's worth 25 points. I want us to grasp the idea behind the annotated bibliography by understanding what this video discusses. Students do not have to respond to other students. It should take you about an hour to complete or one class. So please upload or write 5 to 7 sentence personal response to this video, right? And it's a TED Talk. Let me make sure that it moves with me. It's going through a, I don't ever know if it moves with me. And I'm definitely not going to watch the whole thing with this. Professors throw around class terms like office hours, yet they only say when they are. They never say what they are. Perfect place for it to come in. I didn't plan that. But this TED Talk is about a man who became a professor at this university when he has a background maybe not a lot like mine, but we have some similarities in that he is not who you would think would be professor material or whatever, but yet because of his background. And he just talks a lot about what students experience coming into college. So I just want us to watch this 12-minute video and respond to it just to get an idea of who are we coming into college? Who were you whenever you came into your educational experience? That's all I want you to say. Who am I coming into my educational experience? Like, what was my experience like before? What was my experience like in high school? Do I relate to what he talks about in what's it called? Since we're online students, we more than likely don't live in the dorms, but he talks about students who live in the dorms. He talks about office hours and having that one-on-one communication with their instructor. I mean, how do we relate to this TED Talk? How do we relate to this video? Or just what was our experience and our ideas about ourselves coming into college, right? What was our ideas about us being college material or us being a college student? Do I think I could go on to OU or OSU? Do I think I could go on to UCO or Yale or whatever it is? And why not? Just what do you think about this video? There's no right or wrong answer in responding to this video. All right. So respond to this video, get an idea. Do that first. Respond to this video, get an idea of our educational experience coming in. and then start writing an annotated bibliography all about you, where you're bringing yourself to your educational experience. Make sure that at least two of those, you can do three. I think the academic ones, the academic sources are easier than the non-academic sources because it cites it for me and it's easier to summarize and respond to, but that's just me. I like the academic sources more than the non-academic sources. I don't, you can have a list of 6 academic sources or 5 and one how-to or podcast and one how-to or podcast. You can have all academic sources. It's completely up to you as long as you are learning about yourself, your background, your likes, your interests, all these sources about you. All right. Let me know if you have any questions after you watch this video. Hopefully I didn't make it, incredibly long.